at the wrist itself and work our way down. So if we start off, we're going to start off by palpating the radius. So coming all the way up from the radial head down through here, palpating the radius. This right here, this crease, is exactly where our joint line is, okay? All of this here that comes out this way is going to be bony anatomy. So it's not actually super duper flush to the wrist. There are quite a few that will pop up further this way, right? So radius is going to end up here. Your flexor carpi radialis is going to attach to your carpals right in through here. This is why I made you know it for this kind of stuff, okay? So flexor carpi radialis is going to come right in through here and attach at the carpal bones through here. If I ask you to palpate flexor carpi radialis, it's going to be kind of coming in through here. You see these nice little tendons right here? We're able to actually palpate and differentiate between a few of the tendons by making him go into opposition. That here is going to be palmaris longus, right? So next to it, more than likely, is going to be flexor carpi radialis, okay? So you're able to actually feel some of these tendons, which is really fun. Kind of nice. Your carpal tunnel is going to be this nice groove right through here. Eddie's got a nice little line going right through it, right in through here, okay? You have a bony prominence here, bony prominence here. This nice squishy part going through the middle is what we're looking for your carpal tunnel. Then moving over to the other side, we're going to palpate the ulna, come all the way up. Flexor carpi ulnaris, if we have him go back into here, come forward, and then hold, hold, hold. You're going to be able to feel these tendons pop up a little bit. His isn't so prominent, which is funny. I think it's underneath your palmaris longus, right in through here. If you really want to make the tendons pop, you're going to press down here from flexion, okay? So have him do wrist flexion and resist wrist flexion. All of these are going to, open your hand up as far as you can. Now flex your wrist for me a bit. Hold, hold, hold. You see how all of these are popping up here? And some people, like if you get the right model, you can see every single one of their tendons pop up. It's really cool. Flexor carpi ulnaris is going to be on the ulnar side, okay? Right now it looks like there's kind of a divot here where he doesn't really have one going on. Chances are it's probably underneath his palmaris longus, which is why it's not popping up. Your TFCC is going to be in the space that's right in between your ulna and your carpal row of carpal bones, okay? So TFCC is going to be most accessible on the lateral side of the wrist here, okay? So if we're looking here, right in through here, if you palpate right at that crease and come in, that opening that it kind of hurts to press on is going to be your TFCC. So your TFCC is a little bit like a meniscus or a cartilage pad in your wrist, where we have our carpal bones here, our ulna comes in here, radius comes up a little farther. This is going to be a little wedge-shaped piece of cartilage that comes right in here and fills in this gap. So this is TFCC. So this is where the joint line is, right in through here. Okay. So we are going to palpate the most lateral side of the wrist. We can even move a little bit, have them ulnar deviate, or sorry, radial deviate a little bit. Palpate right in through there is going to be our TFCC, okay? It's another one of those that it kind of hurts to press on. Pisiform is once again going to be this nice little bump right here, right before our hypothenar eminence, okay? Notice like it's almost directly in the joint line, but it's going to not be impacted or affected by the joint line whatsoever. You're going to be able to palpate it no matter where you are here. You're still going to be able to palpate, okay? Like I said, it's that little pea-sized ball that's right in there. Hamate, You are really going to be able to palpate the hamate by its hook. If you look at the palmar surface of the hand, your hamate has these prongs that kind of come down. So you have your scaphoid or pizziform here, and then your hamate has this nice little prong that comes down. The reason your pizziform is so necessary is because right in between here is what we call the tunnel of Guyon, G-U-Y-O-N, okay? You have your radial artery, question mark, ulnar nerve and ulnar artery pass right through there, okay? So right in through here is your tunnel of Guyon. Ulnar nerve, ulnar artery. To palpate that, you're gonna once again take the crease of your thumb and you're kind of gonna go at a palmar angle right in through here until you feel another little bump in there that hurts to press on, okay? This is kind of like the sesentaculum tali in your foot. It's gonna feel that type of sensation if you hit it, okay? So pizziform right in through here, you're gonna be able to feel that tunnel of, or that hook of the hamate, okay? That's where we're gonna palpate the hamate. Here, right in through there. You might have to flex and extend a little bit just so you can make sure that you're on it, but you're gonna feel that bony prominence. Just right there. Okay. As we move around this way, we have our ulna. Where's it? Not a 2. Okay, I get it. I was trying to figure out why it went from 1 to 3, but there's 2 written literally right there. So I'm doing great. Your ulnar head, so ulna all the way down. Ulnar head is going to be the most lateral portion you can feel right here. Okay, the most lateral portion. Some people's sticks out a little bit, some people's it just ends, but it's right out through here. Ulnar styloid process is going to be right here. It's this big bump. Okay, it's the big bump. Okay. However, right next to your, oh no, sometimes it is not easily palpable because there is a tendon that runs right over the top of it, okay? Right around it, right over the top of it. So in some positions, you're not gonna be able to feel your ulnar styloid process very well because you got a tendon that's kind of rolling over the top, okay? Your ulnar styloid process, ulnar collateral ligament, ulnar collateral ligament is going to be in the joint line right here. It's going to be more distal to that ulnar styloid process. So if you go ulnar styloid process and come forward, it's right in through here, okay? You're not really going to be able to directly palpate the UCL because of all of the other crap that goes on top of it. But just like your knee, just like your fingers, everything, you have an ulnar collateral ligament of the wrist and a radial collateral ligament of the wrist that holds the 2 of them together. So this one is going to project from the styloid process and attach to the triquetrum and the pizziform. So it attaches here and it attaches here, okay? Holds everything in place. Extensor carpi ulnaris, if you extend and radial or ulnar deviate a little bit, hold. So we're gonna come up, so hold. This one right here is gonna be, see all these tendons popping up here? This one right here is extensor carpi ulnaris, extensor carpi ulnaris. Extensor carpi ulnaris is going to be very prominent when the wrist is in extension, so you're going to be able to push down and actually see it on the ulnar side. Lister's tubercle is going to actually be used as a pulley for the extensor pollicis longus. So anytime you see something that has to do with Oh, yours is nice. You have a nice Lister's tubercle.
Nice.
This is going to be the prominent bump on the wrist on the thumb side that you can feel right in through here. It forms a kind of a fulcrum point for the extensor pollicis longus to be able to form around, okay? So, this is what helps create the tunnel of Guyon. Not tunnel of Guyon, the anatomical snuff box. This is what helps create the anatomical snuff box. So as extensor pollicis longus and brevis are coming around, longus has to hook around Lister's in order to come up here. Brevis gets to shortcut through here and right next to the abductor pollicis longus. Okay, so those two are here. This one's kind of here. So my drawing was incorrect yet again. Awesome. I'll fix it later, I promise. So the Lister's tubercle is going to be the more prominent one that you can feel. That's a little bit more medial. On the lateral side here is going to end up being your radial styloid process, okay? This is the most distal aspect of the radius that you're going to be able to feel, okay? I'm like second guessing myself because it doesn't feel like it should be that prominent. Eddie's has a very prominent radial styloid process. So very prominent Lister's, very prominent radial styloid process. So Lister's is here, radial styloid process is here, okay? You're gonna be able to differentiate between the two of them because of the bumps. Radial collateral ligament goes from the radial styloid process right through here into the scaphoid. So you're also gonna be able to feel it kind of right in that joint space. Scaphoid itself, you're going to have him make a snuff box if you can. Relax. Scaphoid's going to be right in through here. This is where you're going to try and palpate and feel it. The issue is, for palpating this, you're probably not going to feel a whole lot unless there's something going on there, okay? Once again, there's a lot of stuff that forms right over the scaphoid. But anytime we have inflammation, pain, or anything in that area, ecchymosis in that area, we need to be very careful about the scaphoid. So scaphoid is going to be in the snuff box. The lunate is going to be closer over this way. The easiest way to find the lunate is to bring up here, this bump right in through here, the most prominent part here of your wrist when you fully flex is going to end up being your lunate, okay? You can kind of see the curve here, but the top of the curve there, that's going to end up being the lunate. That's the easiest way to palpate it. So your scaphoid is the bone that's most often fractured. Your lunate is often the one that's most dislocated, okay? And when it dislocates, you're actually going to be able to see that it's misshapen. It's very, very hard to miss a lunate dislocation, okay? You're not going to be able to put them in this position to see it, but if you're here and you notice anything weird going on right in through here, chances are it's a lunate dislocation. Your triquetrum is going to end up, you're going to end up following it around. So you have your lunate here, triquetrum is going to be over here, okay? So you have your styloid process here, the next bone up across the joint line is going to end up being triquetrum. Once again, pizziform, you're not going to be able to feel on the palmar or on the dorsal side. You have to feel it on the palmar. Okay, so we already did that one too. Trapezium, if you have them go back to the snuff box and then relax. Trapezium is going to be one of the ones that you're not going to be able to palpate very well. Okay, you have a lot of other stuff that's over the top of it. Your pizziform is going to sit on top of it on the palmar side. So you're not going to be able to get to it to palpate on the palmar side. On the dorsal side here, because of all of this stuff that runs over the top and because the scaphoid kind of covers it a little bit, you're not going to be able to palpate the trapezium very well. It's still going to be in the snuff box. You're still going to palpate here for that palpation for your exam, but it's kind of an indirectly palpable structure. But just remember trapezium, base of the thumb. Okay, that's what you should remember for that one. Capitate. You're going to move, trapezium. Trapezoid, you're gonna move over a little bit. Once again, you're not gonna be able to feel it very, very well in here. Making sure you're not on the metacarpal. You can follow the second metacarpal all the way up, and it's gonna be right up in through here. As big as these bones look, they're not very big in practice, okay? So you have your trapezium here. Your trapezoid is here. You see how tiny that is compared to everything else? Trapezoid. Capitate's next, hamate's next, okay? So you have trapezium, trapezoid, capitate's gonna be in through here. You can extend a little bit if you need a little bit more room to work with so you're not over the metacarpal. And then hamate, you can technically try and feel here, but once again, hamate's gonna be palpated on the hook. Okay. Extensor carpi radialis brevis and extensor carpi radialis longus are palpations that occur on the actual, basically, metacarpals themselves, okay? So metacarpals coming in through here, we're gonna start at the CMC joint of the thumb, where you can actually feel movement, see movement, do all that kind of stuff. You're gonna find that joint, you're gonna palpate all the way down to the metacarpal. This one, you're going to find that joint, palpate all the way down the second, find that joint, carpal metacarpal, all the way down to the metacarpal phalangeal. Find that joint, move, move, move. Find that joint, move, move, move. That's how you're gonna palpate the metacarpals. Phalanx, 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 like, these ones are fairly easy to palpate, okay? Metacarpal phalangeal, if you're palpating any of these joints in here, you're gonna wanna give a little bit of movement to it. You're also gonna wanna check the collaterals while you do it, okay? It's just the easiest way to be able to palpate those joints. So you can, anytime we're looking at this, once again, making sure we're looking at it from anatomical position, okay? So this is always going to be medial collateral. This is always gonna be lateral collateral, MCL, LCL, okay? Or you can use RCL, UCL if you want to. I don't really care. RCL, UCL if you want to. Most people will do MCL, LCL of the fingers. So longus, extensor carpi radialis longus is going to be dorsal side. It's going to insert at the bottom of the third metacarpal, base of the third metacarpal. Extensor carpi radialis brevis is third, hang on. These palpation notes are so frustrating. ECRB is third, ECRL is second. So here and here, okay? Base of metacarpals, brevis, longus. I don't know why one's called one, one's called the other one. They're both at the same spot. Next comes your compartments, okay? So you have your, the compartments we were talking about earlier. We have our thenar eminence, which is this nice squishy part through here. We have our central compartment, which is up through the middle of the hand, and then we have the hypothenar eminence. All five metacarpals we just palpated. Collateral ligaments of the MCP joint. We can palpate in through here, making sure we palpate the ligaments themselves. Did all the thenars, blah, 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 blah. Thenar web space is this part right here, okay? Thenar web space is thumb. So thumb web space is in through here. Extensor digitorum is going to be back on this side. If you have somebody extend their fingers, so here, and give a little bit of overpressure, all of these tendons that come down and follow the metacarpals are going to be your extensor digitorum tendons, okay? So you can see them kind of come down in through here. That's what you're looking for extensor digitorum in order to palpate. Your index finger and your pinky have additional structures that are extensor digiti minimi, or EDM, or extensor indicus, EI. Okay, so both of those are palpable there. Extensor pollicus longus, pollicus brevis, If we're in through here making a snuff box, once again, pollicis longus hooks around listers, okay? And it's gonna be here. Extensor pollicis brevis is here. Abductor pollicis is going to be your most lateral tendon that you're gonna be able to feel, okay? So up in through here, you're gonna be able to feel 3 different tendons kind of in through here. One is kind of over the top of the other. If you go on the more lateral side here, here is gonna be EPL, extensor pollicis longus, extensor pollicis brevis, and then right underneath it coming in more lateral is gonna be abductor pollicis longus. Okay. Did I miss any palpations? Nobody has any idea. EPB, extensor pollicis brevis, yeah.